How did you assess the evening?
Yeah, I think we got beaten in the first half really, and we didn't get to grips with the game at all. The opposition were excellent. I think they set up very well, and we couldn't get any sort of foothold in the game.
Yeah, two big moments in the game: their penalty and the penalty that you didn't get. Yeah,
and it's a fine margin, isn't it? It's the 1-0 result is as close as it can get. So yeah, but that wasn't to be, and I don't think we were good value for a win tonight, even for a point, to be honest. So yeah, it was a shame we didn't get a penalty, because maybe would have changed the rest of our performance, but it wasn't to me.
Yeah, in a game like that, I guess the first goal is always going to be key, because if the opposition got it, the way that they play and how compact they are, they're always going to make things difficult, and it proved that way, didn't it, once they had something to hang on to?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate to make that error, because from the spot is a brilliant opportunity for them. But yeah, that was how the game played out, unfortunately. Like I said, I don't think we done enough to deserve a point or 3 points tonight.
Yeah, didn't really get any momentum in that second half either. It felt very stop-start, which they managed the game well in what they do, but it didn't give you any time to get ahead of steam, did it really, at any point?
No, and I think once we started to build a move, there was too many errors that we could have avoided, and then of course the opposition were very smart, and they tried to slow the game down, done that brilliantly, but we have to make sure that we don't allow that. By making errors in the final third, not making a really clean action to try and score. Too many wasted opportunities.
Yeah, did it feel at times there were people taking shots from areas that you probably just want them to relax a little bit and try and build a move, so kind of snatching at things because they want to get back into the game?
Yeah, exactly that, and they have to learn that's a trap, and we cannot play like that. Because the more anxious we got, the more we snatched at shots, the more crosses were misplaced, and we forced passes that weren't on, and that's just an anxiety to desperation to get back on terms. But it's a trap. We need to relax and keep doing things correctly, and you create a chance in that way.
I suppose when you're on the sidelines in games like that, you can kind of feel that it's not going to be your night sometimes, and there were instances in the second half, weren't there, where you probably felt that it was going to be one of those days where you just weren't going to find a breakthrough. Yeah,
like I said, when it takes a while to build a move, because the opposition were very good and they held a deep line in the second half, so it takes time to build a move, and then far too often the final bit wasn't there. It was rushed, as I said, or was a mistake. And in that way, you start to feel like the game is slipping away from you. But of course, games change very, very quickly, and one moment can change everything. But we didn't get that tonight.
Yeah, I know you don't want to criticise referees. Of course, the penalty incident, from your viewpoint, it looked a clear handball from the stands.
Yeah, but
nothing changes.
He's the man there. He has to make the big call, so I respect him.
Yeah. In terms of what you said to the players, obviously, they can't get too down based on one result. You need to see a response, I guess, at the weekend now. Yeah, absolutely, and really, like I said, to try and learn from that, we were overpowered from the beginning of the game, and we didn't get to grips with the opposition. And they're top of the league for that reason, because they have a strong game plan and they deliver it really well. But we have to be able to cope with that better. And then, although it's a mistake and a penalty, it's from the open play that it creates anxiety, and that's why that happened.